Certainly unit economics are always going to be something that is a hot button topic for someone that is looking to invest in a model. They want to get a return on investment and ultimately get a profitability. So what drives profitability in this particular model? Is it number of providers, or is it prescription volume, or like what are those kind of key indicators that tell you if you're successful and head towards profitability?
Yeah, so sales are generated for a franchisee through the prescriptions that they generate that go to a pharmacy within their zip code, and that gets fully completed, and gets to the patient. So it's the volume of prescriptions, of course. New prescriptions is a good barometer of how many prescriptions they're generating, and really educating healthcare providers as to what would be valuable for their patients, and getting that prescription to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy actually, getting the patient to their product and them being successful on it. But the next barometers are refills. If the drug is doing well, then obviously they're going to, get a refill when needed, of course. And so that is definitely one of the drivers. That's the main driver of sales, because as that pharmacy buys more product from Galt, then that franchisee gets the credit for those sales. And so the profitability is then driven on, okay, well, what are your expenses for that? We don't have brick and mortar. You don't need a huge build out as typical franchise systems. You can literally work out of your car. That's your office. And if you're an owner operator, if you're obviously hiring reps, then you might have an office and, where you meet up. That's if you want that. But basically, your expenses are limited to your own or your sales reps' activities. And even the big pharma companies have huge budgets for doing lunches and dinners and speaker programs. Our franchisees aren't really reliant on those things, because we're small businesses. They're small businesses. They're going into these healthcare providers saying, I'm a small business, local. I'm not going to be able to feed you the nice big lunches, but I'm here to bring you value. I can give you education. And yes, I can bring you coffees and maybe breakfast here and there, just so that way we can talk and it's all done in a compliant way. But that's been uniquely valuable, and the doctor's offices actually love that, because it's like, well, I'm going to help you out. You're like me. I'm a local business. You're a local business. We're going to work together as long as the patient's getting what they need. And so the profitability, I think, is maximized because you're not having to compete with those big pharma companies and their big budgets, because we're going in through a very much strategic and laser approach to those healthcare providers that really want to work with us to really drive care to the patient, as opposed to just, okay, well, who's going to bring me in the next lunch and that kind of thing.
I love it. You want simplicity in revenue and the capacity to scale your incomes, cash flow, whatever you want to call it, profit. And this sounds like a very lean model. I mean, obviously you can choose to have a little bit of overhead expense if you want, but you don't have to. And you can ultimately drive a very strong return as a result of that. So
yeah. Minimal overhead is the key, because a lot of franchise systems obviously require that. You have to have, the brick and mortars, whether it's food related or hotel or anything. Some of the big home service type of franchisees, they require investments in certain machinery or whatever. So it's really a franchisee that just is going to be their owner. They're betting on themselves. Like I said, they're doing well if they work.
Yeah, ultimately your focus becomes pretty clear, right? Drive the behavior either for yourself or your sales rep, track your performance, and just improve the consistency.